Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and call us to order. At least now I have two other members. I feel like something good. Nice. Okay. Yeah, we'll put that on the record. Okay, I'm going to call us to order now. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Today is September 5th, 2025. We are on the record to discuss Assembly Memorandum number 663-2025, Executive Appointment Confirmation Hearing, Shanna Gamble for Parks and Rec Director. We'll start with introductions in the room.
Yarrow Silvers.
Anna Brawley.
Christopher Constant, we have Mr. Myers on the phone.
Yes, thanks, Chair.
All right, thank you. So, and we are on the record until 12:50 for this work session. And we'll go ahead and start with introductions, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm very excited to introduce Shanna Gamble today for her confirmation hearing. Ms. Gamble has been leading our Parks and Recreation Department since April and has been doing it superbly. Ms. Gamble joined the municipality in 2020, right in the midst of COVID and all the challenges that came along with that time. It wasn't an easy time to start a new position and to get to know your colleagues over Zoom and Teams, but Ms. Gamble fit right in and quickly gained the confidence of her team. Since taking the acting director position, Ms. Gamble has deftly led Parks and Rec through the busy summer season, making sure capital projects are executed, ball fields are maintained, and trails and playgrounds are ready for all of us who enjoy every hour we can outside. Ms. Gamble has also been a key member of our camp abatement team. I really appreciate her support of the Healthy Spaces team. You know, we love our parks and trails here, such a special part of our community, and I'm looking forward to working with Ms. Gamble on key projects like the Ship Creek Trail, the Town Square Park renovation, and the Cuddy Midtown Park Master Plan, and so much more. Thank you, members, for being here today, and I respectfully ask that you support Ms. Gamble's confirmation to this position. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any opening comments, Ms. Gamble?
Thank you. Good afternoon. I want to thank Mayor LaFrance and Ms. Lemander Pearson. It took me a few weeks to get to the point of actually realizing how much I wanted this position. During that time, I had a lot of positive conversations with one person from the administration saying, if not now, then when? Ultimately, what made the decision clear was the continued support from my team. We have this amazing team, and I will provide my support and resources needed to be successful so we can continue to provide programs and services our community expects and deserves. I came into this role with an understanding of our budget, programs, and challenges. I am committed to working with staff, leadership, the Assembly, and community partners to find solutions, address our aging assets, and staffing challenges. Parks and Recreation plays a vital role in offering public spaces where people feel a sense of belonging and community, and I want to see these spaces clean, safe, and accessible. This is an amazing opportunity, both professionally and personally, so thank you again, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Anything to add?
Sure, I'll happily pile on. I was thinking about this morning and I was driving in and I was thinking, it's been a year that I have been bringing candidates to you all for consideration, for confirmation. And I think I have been proud at the mayor's direction to bring people who I think are just eminently qualified for their position, professionally qualified, personally ready, people who I see as really being fit to carry the trust of the community to shepherd the important services that we provide. And I think Ms. Gamble absolutely embodies that ethos in terms of hiring directors for municipal departments. She is tremendously qualified. She knows the Parks and Recreation Department. She is personally committed to this department, to the work that it does. She has demonstrated the incredible trust that she has from her team. So I couldn't be more pleased to present her for consideration today. Thank you.
Right. Any questions from the members? Ms. Brawley.
Yeah, well, I'll say, on behalf of the West Side, thank you for all the work on parks. I know we love our parks and trails like every district does. And thanks again for, for the department to be shepherding through the Fish Creek Trail. I know that's been a long, long time coming. I guess my question is really around staffing. And I know it's been a challenge. I had a conversation about kind of the challenge of hiring seasonal workers in particular. And, you know, whether we look at seasonal or full-time, those kind of conversations. So I'm curious from your perspective, and just knowing that when we're short-staffed, we can't take as good of a care of our parks as we'd like to. And so just thinking in general, kind of what your thoughts or initial plans are for addressing those staffing issues, and then also kind of revisiting the what should we be having as seasonal workers versus full-time?
Thank you for that question. I think actually we're in the right time to have these conversations, right? We're planning for the 2026 budget. Since I started, I was kind of impressed by, I was shocked by how many seasonals we have versus full-time. And I think having an open conversation about moving away from the seasonal model into more full-time and what that looks like. We've done a bunch of legwork to identify what that model would look like. And I did present it both to the mayor and municipal manager during the budget time. So hoping maybe that will pivot our staffing a little bit.
Thank you.
Ms. Silvers.
Just to tie into the staffing question, do you happen to know what the pay for municipal parks employee is versus a state parks?
I don't know the difference between the two, but our park caretakers start at, I believe it's like 1940 and some change, but I can give you that exact dollar figure later if you want, but right in there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious if the pay is a contributing factor to staffing.
Okay, I got a few things. So, Cuddy Park was mentioned in the master planning process. I will note for folks that I did see a camp has formed on the southeast corner of the park, and there's only one at this time. It might be a good idea to interrupt that process earlier than later. What are your thoughts on the future for Cuddy Park? What's the status?
So right now we are waiting for the RFP of the old archive. And once that kind of comes to fruition, then we'll start the master plan for Cuddy.
Waiting for the RFP for the master plan or the RFP for the
old archive,
disposal?
sorry, the old archive site, yeah.
The master plan,
Yeah.
okay. Waiting for the RFP, meaning it's up on the purchasing floor, getting reviewed and developed, not yet public?
No, it's public. I think it closes at the end of, or bids come in at the end of this month,
Right,
as long as there's not an extension.
perfect. That's good information. So can you give us a briefing on standing up the Mountain View Community Center, how that's gone?
Yes, I can. So we took over in June, and as of right now, we have 6 staff members. 3 of them are full-time, the other 3 are seasonal. The 3 did work for Boys and Girls Club prior, so they are there. We are open Monday through Friday right now with weekends on rentals or weekend rentals. From 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., we're transporting kids to the schools. And then the kids show back up at 2:30. It's pretty quiet between noon and 2:30 until the kids. So we also pick up the kids and bring them back. The strategic plans, we started to kick that off. The survey closed a week ago or so, but we only had 34 respondents. So we extended it. Definitely missed the mark, I think, just because of summertime. So the principals at the schools are helping push it out to parents. And I think it closes on the 14th, I believe, this time. So we're currently working on Wi-Fi, security cameras, and a computer lab. And overall, I think things are going well.
I definitely want to understand the cost line for the Wi-Fi, because that was a big project for me. I want to make sure those get done where all the kids are hanging out at. Okay, so just so members have the information who are listening, there's not a lot of us here, but there is an actual reappropriation on the agenda of funds that were intended for a previous contractor at that location to provide support to the Parks and Rec Department to implement those services. So just heads up for Tuesday, There'll be another Parks Matter there. So also the Track J conversation. So just so other members here are also aware, we're doing something with it. What's happening on Tuesday for Track J?
Is it the replatting AO?
Yep.
Is that what's going to be presented in front of you?
Yeah, so members are aware we're taking a portion of, we're making a motion to amend something previously adopted, which is a rare and hardly used and not really preferred amendment, or motion, but in this case, all of the variables are in place to make it legal for us to do it. And we're rededicating the park section so that the Parks Department doesn't have to be road managers, right? So that the port can maintain the portion that would be considered the road, and that the parks would have use of that, but the boundary would be slightly different. So that's coming before us Tuesday. So there's a point to that question beyond the motion that's coming. The point is Parks doesn't want to do roads because Park does parks. What future do you see for the Parks Department to get in the lane more of managing parks and less in the lane of being a social service and solid waste management facility for the municipality?
I think currently right now, no matter what, Parks and Recreation needs to have a Healthy Spaces, a cleanup team, right? Because a good percent of the camps are on parkland. So no matter what, we need that staff. Long term, I'll back up. I think over the last 5 months since I've been here, I've had some really good conversations with the municipal manager and special assistants to the mayor about what the Healthy Spaces team are used, what their skills are. They're there to clean, not to be used as social workers. And it's been recognized, and we've made kind of that adjustment, and they've got great teams out there that are doing social work. So that has come off of our department. We are really, truly cleaning and just supporting the whole abatement process. I would love to see, trash be able to stay one place and have a solid waste or whoever come grab it.
So I use the solid waste example as just one, but I think that, we call the Healthy Spaces team to clean up wherever, right? It's in rights of way. It's all across town and not just in the parks. It is primarily in the parks because those are the places where people are finding safe harbor. I do think that the Parks Department has found itself to be the everything for everybody team below the police, right? The police get called to do everything for everybody because they're the police, and it kind of bends their mission in some ways. You're the other department. And why? Because your staff is the most affordable staff that we have, right? And so I'm hopeful and concerned. We want to see strategic effort into ensuring that the park staff support the parks
I would
firmly and are less that my team Friday, right? That if we have other teams that are needed, we bring them. And you mentioned that, so thank you. Are there other questions, Anna?
Yeah, another one is I've really enjoyed being a volunteer in our parks for the last few years. And I know, shout out to Ellen Devine, who is moving on to another position. And I know there's been some changes there. But you guys have a really great volunteer program, and I know working with Anchorage Park Foundation. I'm curious how, or if you have thoughts on how to increase participation in that or expand it. I know there's certain things that volunteers can't do, but it's also great to empower people to help keep our parks nice. So I wonder if there's ways to expand that, or if that's something you guys have talked about beyond kind of the limited capacity of staff.
Well, I think that's where it starts, right? Is staffing, is being able to have staff to help manage more programs. In a perfect world, yeah, we would expand volunteer opportunities and also expand citywide events because the community loves them so much. But I think I know there's been a lot of requests of like, how do we clean up homeless camps, or how do we go and cut down trees? And I think that's what we have to work internally with legal and risk, if those are allowed or not. But in the past, we haven't done that. So something we can explore.
And also, I'm going to take advantage of the season and just say, because it's fall, can you please give a plug for the Haunted and Enchanted Trails, which I know is not the scope of this work session, but is an awesome event that I wish more people knew about.
I love Haunted and Enchanted, and I am always in costume at Enchanted. So come visit me. The 17th. I need a calendar. 17th and 18th October.
And for the record, are you the fairy queen? What is it that your role is in that?
I'm the queen. Right at the front.
So that actually, I made a little note on my card here that on this table between the clerk's office, the administration, and the assembly, there's a ratio of 1 to 6, male to female. The administration has done a great job of bringing on a gender balanced team to run the thing. In fact, the room, it's the same ratio, 21-3, I think. So are you the first female parks director? Do you know if we confirm you? Because in memory, I can't, Rada was there for 1,000 years. And so there were glaciers here before he was there.
Yeah, Durand
Durand and
and Brandon.
Braniff. So I think it would be nice to know, figure that out. But in memory, I don't know of any female parks director, which is just kind of part of that work. Our next work session is with the Office of Equity and Justice. And so I just think we're living equity here in a good way. That's not really a question, just an observation. On the question side, I have kind of had a relationship with all of the parks directors, and Rada was unflappable. The guy was made out of rock. But with Josh and with Mike, this increase of the work in the homelessness space was very taxing on an emotional level, because you're out there doing very brutal work. Your teams it's dirty work. It is like the fire department. You keep doing the same job over and over again, and it can be pretty painful, I think, is just the way it comes to mind. I wrote down PTSD. What systems do you have in place to help yourself manage the negativity that comes from that very difficult work?
I think just having open lines of communication and talking through it. Again, we have a great team that it's just being transparent and supporting is the biggest thing. Just continues to support.
Who do you talk to? That's like, and you don't need to tell me you got a counselor, right? Your team, okay, they're all waving their hands. That's what I want to be really clear that I hope you take care of. Like, I work with the fire department on this, the police. If there isn't a system of managing kind of the taxing emotional part of this job, you burn out quick. And I don't want quick burnout. I want a long arc, Anyhow, so ideally you have systems, and clearly if you were in the room, you would see there's like waves of hands. A wave just broke out like in a concert venue. So, okay, that's probably my questions. Any other questions? Scott, on the phone, anything from you? I mean, you got to have one question.
No, I'm good, Chair. Thank you.
No, you got to have one. What is the relationship that you're going to have with the Eagle River Parks and Rec? Like, there's got to be some question there. Come on.
Well, what I was going to say was the lack of attendance today is a good thing. That means it's not going to be an objective hearing. And no, I did ask the folks in Eagle River, and they support you. So I look forward to your confirmation and voting in favor.
We heard a little bit from the Eagle River contingent that there's support. That's good. Because I know that always is like, it's just a different kind of part of the job that most of us still members don't even really have insight into. Okay, then I think we're gonna give you the last opportunity, last words, anything?
No, thank you for your time.
All right, then this item will be before us on Tuesday. It's AM 663-2025 Executive Appointment Confirmation Hearing. Shanna Gamble, Director of Parks and Recreation. There's nothing further, then we'll stand in adjournment. We'll be back for our work session at 1. Thank you, everybody.